The suspense is killing me. I have to watch a chat now to know to go. It's like watching it. What if my internet hangs? I won't know. Now, just 1 second. One Mississippi.
We'll just tweet you.
Yeah. It's all right. Only 2,000 people listen.
Recording started.
Recorded live.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, across the nation or around the world. Once again, you're listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable podcast. This is podcast number 528. My name is Eric Nilsson. With me today, I have our regular co-host, Corey Romero. Today is Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. This is the VMware Community Podcast. We're on YouTube. You can go check us out at VBarbecue on YouTube, youtube.com/VBarbecue. Corey Romero, good to see you. How's it going?
Going well. Hey, is that a centipede I see in the background there, Eric?
Yeah, that is Centipede. If you happen to be on YouTube watching us on VBarbecue, you can see my backdrop. I'm downstairs today. The air quality was really bad this week. So I got my Centipede video game, and I've got a pinball machine on the other side that you can't see. But yeah, it's going. I got the high score on this baby. It's nice.
Yeah. Hey, now, if you watch enough of these live streams, you can actually kind of see what your house looks like based on the various rooms that you go to.
Yeah, so far I've live streamed from my garage office, which is where my kids play video games and we play League of Legends tournament style. I've been upstairs in the jacuzzi room. I've turned that into my upstairs office, and now I'm in the living room. So you get to see everywhere, and it's kind of weird because I have games and fun stuff everywhere I go. So it's kind of a weird thing. On the show today, we are going to be talking to Kripa. Kripa and Sophie are here to Kripa Citroen and Sophie Wynn. Both of them work on the VMware Code program, and we're going to be talking about Code Connect, which is basically the 50 sessions we're running as part of VMworld, but it's kind of a separate event. It's all live streamed, so I'll be live. We're going to talk all about that, what's going to be happening with the hackathon. So the site is up, it's live. We have, I think, over 500 or 600 people registered now, so we'll hear from them about that. But Corey, before we go, I gotta say, color of the bay, it's sparkling blue. The sun is out. It rained in California. The air is crystal clear because it rained. We are through the fire season mess that we've had. The orange air is all gone. I heard it's blowing east, so It is through Nevada. It's supposed to get to Chicago in about 3 more days. So everybody have fun with that. Right,
we've had quite a bit of the California smoke in here in Utah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you guys are in for a real treat. It's kind of like a bad movie, right? Everything turns orange. The air is bad. You can't go outside. It's like, oh my gosh. So it's beautiful in California today. It did rain. The air is crystal clear. They give you an air quality rating, and I think we hit like a 250, which is some number that just means the air is really bad. Some places up in Oregon got 300, 325, which basically don't go outside. I went for a ride on my Jeep for 1 5-minute loop around the neighborhood, and I came back, I was coughing and my eyes were burning, right? Like you just couldn't be outside. You had to be inside. It has slowly declined, and now it's at anything healthy is at like 20, right? 20 is fine, normal, kind of not perfect air, but pretty good. Rained, we're at 6, so the air, it's like fresh and nice. So that's the world that we live here in the Bay Area. It's always cool to hear about it. I think on the show today, again, let's introduce our guests. I guess I should do key dates first on what's actually happening. If you've been listening to the podcast, you already know this. September 29th through October 1st is VMworld Online. I hear we're cresting the 100,000 reg mark. It could happen later today or could happen tomorrow. So let me tell you, 100,000 people signed up to come to VMworld, which is online. There are lots of activities happening. So don't miss it. Mark out your calendars that whole week. I think the 29th is maybe a Tuesday. I know there's stuff happening on Monday, as well as things happening those 3 days, plus the VMware Code Connect happens at the end of the week, Thursday and Friday, the 1st and 2nd of October. September. So it should be a fun, interesting week. Definitely get yourself ready for that. And we'll talk about the hackathon. I think that's going to open up September 21st, which is we're coming up on that date. So we'll talk to the team about that. And then final news item is if you're a big VMTN forums boards warrior, you might want to know that we are starting the beta program for the new VMTN site that's going to be on the Chorus platform. We had that on a few podcasts ago, talking to the team about what's going to be happening with the transition from Jive software to Chorus. And me and Corey have been working on it for the last, I don't know, couple months now, and that has gone beta. So Corey, good job on getting it all together. I actually like how the platform turned out.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Looks really slick.
Yeah, very slick. But also, I think you brought to the table something that I think everybody has wanted for a long time, which is drop-down nav bar. The top nav bar has dropped down directly into the different sections of the site. So super easy to navigate now to a new place in the site.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. And then just an updated platform, updated graphics. Everything's a little bigger, but that might be because I have reading glasses now, so everything looks bigger. But if you want to be a part of the VMTN beta, we're only going to be running it for a couple weeks here. But if you want to go check it out before we get ready to launch, you can go give us feedback on it. We're doing repairs and updates, and we have a form in there that we're discussing things that we need to fix. You can email Jennifer G at VMware.com. She is the community manager. Jennifer, we had her on the podcast, and I will unbashfully give her email address out here because most of us are all community folks. Jennifer G at VMware.com. If you want to be part of that beta, it is a closed beta. I think we have like 60 or 70 people invited. If you're a moderator, you probably got the invite already. But we're also open it up to interested parties who really are interested in giving us feedback. So if you want to be a part of that, we're happy to invite you in, and you can just check it out. We have all the data from all the forums loaded up. I think it's like 6 weeks old, something like that. We did a snapshot 6 weeks ago. So that's all loaded in the platform so you can operate on real data. And then we create you a beta account so that you don't break your real account. So you'll have a beta account that you can come in and play with. And then everything we do will be thrown away so you can't hurt anything when you're in there. And so you can do some post videos, use the new editor, put in pictures, all the things. Really nice modern platform from the GUI perspective and their editor perspective on forum posts. So pretty neat. And then we have some nice landing pages, and we have a community ownership model that if you're interested in an area, you can become a director of that area. And we're recruiting directors and also managers and individual contributors for given sections. You'll see that when you get in there if you're part of the beta. All right, with that, that's my announcements. VMworld coming up, pretty exciting. Corey, anything else that we need to cover with respect to what's going on in communities or vExperts or anything else?
No, not well. We did one thing, which was a call for bloggers for a blogger early access program. Those are now closed. We're going to reach out to the folks who applied. That is going to be on the 25th with the comms team. So if you're not a vExpert and you want to, desperately get information about what's going to be happening, go to vexpert.com and click on the notify me when application's open, and we'll notify you once the application's open and you can be part of the program. But yeah, we're gonna notify those vExperts here shortly on who we're invited in that.
Been invited to the early access blogger briefs activities, right? So that's good. Looking for some good blogger articles if we can get them, as always. And we are running an influencer program where we're promoting some key influencers for content. So you might see some of that out there. Duncan Epping and a couple others we're promoting. If you see those guys, you'll know them. It'll say top influencer going to be at VMworld. You can give those a retweet if you see them. We're always looking for reach on that kind of stuff. Trying to get more. If we're cresting the 100,000, we're expecting another 10 or 15,000 to register in on this last week. I think it's 10 more days, something like that. So this is the time to let everybody know it's free. You can come in, get it up there. 500 sessions. Sessions are turning out really well. I've heard a lot from community members. It's going to be pretty good. And at the same time, shout out if you're interested in Discord. You can go over to Orbital Jigsaw on Discord. You can search Orbital Jigsaw. We'll also be tweeting out a link and start promoting the link to Orbital Jigsaw. You can go join us on Discord and watch. I think they're going to have this live streaming for the sessions over there. And then they have a bunch of chat rooms. So if you're into Discord or you want to just learn about Discord and learn about chat, I think there's maybe 500 community members that have signed up for Orbital Jigsaw for that 3-day conference during VMworld, where they're going to be kind of doing the Discord thing with the V community. So if you want to go in and say hello, we're treating that as kind of like the community booth this year, just to be online, somewhere you can come in, watch some sessions, and chat with other community members. So we'll be tweeting out that Orbital Jigsaw link on Discord. You need a kind of a link to go to the invite, but you can search for it as well. So that's another announcement. We'll make sure that we're letting everybody know that if you want to go have real-time conversations with other community members, we do have paid environments to come and chat. But if you want to go just chat with everybody, go over to Discord, get that thing set up, and jump in and join the conversation over there. All right, with that, we'll do the introduction to our guests. So first, we'll go to Kripa. Kripa, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been at VMware, and what do you work on, and then we'll continue on.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Kripa. I am the community manager for the VMware Code program. I have been at VMware a little over 2 years now, full-time, and a little over 4 years if you count both my internships. And that's a little background about me.
Great. Okay, Sophie, you're new to the community team. You're also working on a handful of the different projects, but also tightly connected to the VMware Code program. We always do, who are you? What have you done in your career? I guess you're kind of new graduate, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your history?
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I'm Sophie. I'm a new grad. I graduated this past March in the middle of COVID, which was a little strange, but yeah, this is my first role out of college. I'm helping Kripa with the Code Connect conference, but I have background in operations and sales in the past.
Nice. All right. Well, welcome to the life of the working people. Right? You have 50 more years to go. I tell that to kids. I'm like, when you get out of college, you're just excited to go get to work and to work hard and get your career going and all that, which is great. You need to make a living, all that. But I always tell people it's kind of like the Rodney Dangerfield. If you've ever seen that. Back to School movie, his quote at the end of it is, "Don't go, stay with your parents. It's a jungle out there." And I would say that to people, like, don't be in a hurry, because I think I'm coming up to whatever year it is of 42 years so far. So if I work 8 more years, I think I get my little gold watch that says 50 years of career working. So it's a long career, so don't be too much in a rush to get going, because it's a lot of work that you're going to get to do. So Kripa, let's do first VMware Code. For people that don't know what VMware Code is, why don't you give us the introduction to Code, how many people we got in it, what are we targeting, that kind of stuff, and then we'll get into CodeCon next.
Yeah, of course. For those of you who don't know, VMware Code is VMware's developer program. I think at this point we're about 6 years old now, coming up on 6 years. And we've grown really quickly in the last 2 to 3 years and kind of established ourselves more as an identifiable brand at VMware. We have about 20,000 members now, active members, and you can see most of them on our Slack channel. One of the things that you get invited to when you join Code, which is for free, by the way, if you're interested, just go to code.vmware.com/join, put in your email, and tick the little box for our communications. But you can invite to our Slack channel. And our Slack is extremely active. Not only is there the general channel where everyone is automatically added in where you join, but there's a bunch of different threads based on where your interests lie. So there's one for PowerShell, there's one for Tanzu, there's one for AWS. Really, whatever you're interested in learning, there's a thread for you to join. And almost all of them have at least 1 or 2 subject matter experts that are extremely active and can answer your questions. It's a great space to learn, code, and connect, which is our motto. with the rest of the community. We definitely target more of the IT practitioner who's trying to move into the DevOps space. And we've noticed that as the most part of our audience in code events and workshops in the past.
That makes sense. So, automation, right? So even if you're not headed to DevOps, it's great to have professionals that know how to automate things and know all the APIs and use them. So Slack channels, also we run the events. So yeah, all right, great. So that's VMware Code, continuing registration up into the 30,000 mark by next year sometime this time. So that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about Code Connect. This is the first year we're doing a Code Connect. So how do we get into this space?
Yeah, so as I was saying, I think we've really grown as a community in the last 2 to 3 years. When I first started off in 2018, we had just a little half of a booth in our community's booth. This past year, where there's so much draw to our sessions at VMworld in 2018, that 2019, we really just had 3 huge sections at VMworld. If you went to VMworld US in San Francisco, you might have noticed it. We were in Moscone West on the 2nd floor. We had a space dedicated just to labs. Eric is very familiar with this. He ran a lot of labs that were overbooked, and people were just really excited to get in and get their hands dirty and get that hands-on experience to coding. We also had a small theater, which had about 100 seats. That too was pretty full. Almost all the sessions had overflow and people standing in the hallway. And then we had a big breakout room that seated about 300 people. And those sessions were really full too. So the whole week, we had 3 different areas at VMworld that were extremely active. This year, with everything being virtual, we decided if there's any time to really get into the virtual conference space and have our own conference, it's now. Why not? So we're having our first flagship online event called Code Connect, which is going to run kind of tandem to VMworld at the very end of it, October 1st and October 2nd. And it's going to be a 2-day virtual, all live coding event. We have a mix of 40 plus power sessions. If you've noticed, this full year with COVID, we've adapted our, just in general, power sessions, the way we get content out to our community. We've been having these online power sessions once a week. They're on our YouTube channel. But that same format, 30-minute quick technical talks, we're going to have a bunch of those, 40 plus,
all right,
all
so
live.
Time out. You're just going to go rip through everything here, right?
Sorry.
Before you go that, I want to switch over to Corey. So Corey, in the cloud native space and in coding in general, right, where you're automating, I know you guys have set up a vExpert subgroup to look at like modern apps as well. Is that kind of in that same space of getting people that are like looking at automating, or is it really about running Kubernetes on top of vSphere?
It's a little bit of combination of both, right? This is mainly driven by the business unit. For the most part, I would say it's Kubernetes, right? It's product focused. It's more about delivering that information from the business unit into the sub communities, the vExperts, right?
So this is also layering on top of the code program that Kripa took us through, right? Like, which is just continuing to march forward in the education and creating experts that also can talk about, what does it mean to run cloud native apps or modern apps on top of vSphere, right? And whether it's automation or whether it's, additional, stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. All right. So back to Kripa. Code Connect, right? We do overall because of VMworld, right? You're basically taking us to the idea that we've had this at VMworld, right? We've had the sessions. In the past, we've also at VMworld we've had giveaways like shirts, hats. We've done even contests there. So we've had that. One of the things that makes for me code different, and maybe you can talk a little about this as we talk about the sessions, is we've got sessions that are, VMworld sessions, which are hour long, right? Which, you almost have to apply to the session committee, get in a track and get approved for that. But the code sessions are really more like community fostered, right? Why don't you take us through, like, what's the difference between the VMworld sessions and what we're going to see over in code?
Yeah, I think one of the main differences, at least for me coming into this space and not being a technical major when I was in college, is that the fact that they're all kind of bite-sized 30-minute sessions, they're really easy for someone who's not in that space to just kind of hop in and understand. We also have a lot of variety. They're not just all beginner sessions. We have intermediate sessions, but I feel like with the whole 1 hour sessions at VMworld, a lot of those sessions are catered more to people that understand the topic when they're coming in to seeing them. The fact that it's community driven for a lot of the code sessions, it's you can come in, you can ask questions. It doesn't feel that formal aspect isn't there as much in the code sessions, which I think is way more conducive to coming in and learning about something you're interested in learning about.
Yeah, for me also, there's just this notion that it's open, it's done by community members, which is what you point out, right? It's done by communities. And also it's kind of open. We don't really have a limit generally. We'll generally have, a lot of sessions because they're every half an hour. Where at VMworld, your likelihood of getting a session when you apply for it is, 1 out of 20 actually get to have a session because they're kind of sought after. They're an hour long. There's only so many rooms. Where we have the theater, we do them every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes. And so the numbers that we were able to run through were a larger number. We got basically 70, 80, 90 sessions throughout VMworld. And those were all reserved for communities, right? And community submissions.
Yep, definitely. And I think that also having the larger number of sessions offers a higher variety of different topics that are covered. Whereas VMworld, if they're 1 hour sessions, they only have so many spaces. So they can only cover the top topics versus not everything that everyone's interested in. So I love that part of the code sessions.
Yeah, I try to always hope for the kind of things where one year somebody built a SAN environment using USB chips, right? So they had basically strung together a bunch of small USB hubs, little USB chips, and then put them all together and made a vSAN kind of environment or a SAN environment, and I think ran vSAN on top of it, right? And it ran for about 18 minutes before it burned out, right? But it was just a super fun, cool project, which there's no way these type of topics, these type of things would ever get a full session. But in the community space where VMware code, where you've written some cool code and done something interesting, that's the kind of stuff that is fun to share with the community. And we basically don't limit the number of sessions that we do get. Normally we get everybody a slot that proposes a session. We've been lucky in that we've had enough volume to be able to handle that. Question on sessions. There are different session types this year, right? So you have general 20-minute sessions, but then you also have, code experience sessions. Why don't you take us through that?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this January we launched our influencer program in code called Code Coaches. And one of our code coaches, William Lamb, pointed out that there's this myth in a lot of sessions where a lot of people come into VMworld with questions that they have on projects that they're working, and they want to connect with subject matter experts and ask questions and learn. But the way that the sessions are structured, especially with those subject matter experts, it's one speaker in a 1,000-person room. You don't really get that one-on-one time where you can talk and ask questions, and it's pretty difficult to catch somebody as they're walking through the halls at VMworld and stop them and ask them. So one of the sessions that we're offering based on William's recommendation are these code on the fly sessions. They're going to be an hour-and-a-half run sessions by subject matter experts on vSphere, Kubernetes, PowerShell, PowerCLI, where people can bring their automation questions in and ask them to our subject matter experts who will live code their responses. And hopefully this will kind of foster that community aspect that is missed a lot of the time in pre-recorded sessions. And hopefully the community can feel like they're learning with each other as we're going through those sessions. So we have the code on the fly sessions, and our other type of sessions, as I was mentioning earlier, is the 30-minute power sessions, which we have over 40 of.
Nice. So William Lamb's going to be doing one. Is Kyle Ruddy doing another one? I can't remember who the other.
He is. He's doing one.
Live coding sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle's doing one. William Lamb's doing one. Michael Gash is doing one, and Rafael Brito is doing one.
right? So 2 a day or some number like that that are going to be happening. And these are longer sessions. These are like an hour and a half or something like that that's in the schedule, so that the guys get to dig in and actually drill down into the code and do the live coding at the time they're doing it, right? Very nice. So we'll switch a little bit. We'll talk to Sophie now. On the site, we should do a shout out to the site. We do have a site. Why don't you tell us the URL, and I'll ask you some questions about the site. Why don't you take us through what does the site have there? How do we build it?
Yeah, so we actually built the site straight into GitHub. The intention behind that was that a lot of presenters are going to be able to push code straight onto the directory. So once we direct attendees over to the site, they'll be able to kind of take a look at maybe some of the stuff that presenters are telling them to look at after their presentations. So I'll give you the URL. It's kind of long. It's vmwarecodeconnect.github.io /CodeConnect 2020. We've been tweeting about it all the time. You can check out the VMware Code Twitter if you want to take a look at our website. But yeah,
if you haven't been there, you can just go to code.vmware.com and register, and then we send you an invite to the site as well, right? So if you don't want to write that down in a podcast, code.vmware.com. Go register, bring a friend, bring 3 friends, get registration up on code. And all right, so that's one thing. You're hosting on GitHub. And then this is not your typical GitHub site where when I go to GitHub, it's like a project, right? You guys built like a front end to this, right? On what is it called, GitHub Pages or something?
Yeah, we did. Kripa and I had our heads into the computers for like a week straight, just coding this out. And neither of us are web developers, so I hope it turned out okay. No complaints just yet. So,
right.
Yeah.
So when I come in, it's styled, right? Feels like a conference. You have agenda at a glance, so you can see all the sessions. How do we, I thought the way you guys did registration for individual sessions was also so unique. Why don't you mention how that works?
Yeah, so let's say, for example, you get to the agenda at a glance and you say, you know what, I want to register to the keynote session, which is the very first one we have. It's going to be presented by Kit Colbert. Definitely don't want to miss it. But so as you scroll down on the front page, each session has its own add to calendar link. And the way that you'll be able to get the Zoom link to register for an event is if you add it to your calendar. And so you can do this for as many sessions as you want. Even our hackathon registrations on that page. So there's different links that you can go to from this specific page, from the homepage itself, but specifically registering.
You guys get to see who's registering for each of the sessions to know how many people are going to be in the Zoom meeting. What's your capacity on the Zoom meetings?
Kripa, do you know that one?
Yeah, so our capacity on the Zoom meeting is 1,000, and if it goes over 1,000, we have the option to convert the Zoom to a webinar, which will increase the capacity to 3,000 people.
So yeah, so 1,000 people could be on any given coding session or any given presentation, right? And then you're live. This is not pre-recorded. These are the presenters. They're live. What happens if the presenter is sick or their network goes down?
Great question. We've been getting a lot of presenters, or all the ones that are supposed to be presenting power sessions, to do pre-recordings of what they intend to present, so that in the case that something goes wrong on the day of, you'll still be able to listen to what they wanted to say, and we'll be able to stream their pre-recording over the Zoom.
Great. So kind of like a backup, but not intended, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Right. So all live, up to 1,000 people in a chat. Are we going to have chat moderation, or is it just going to be kind of like a live stream, go as you go? I would assume go as you go. How many people do we expect to be in each one of these sessions? I mean, typically at VMworld, we might have 25 or 30 people sitting around at a given session. Do you guys get to see the reg numbers? How are session regs looking?
So it's funny that you asked that, because I actually went through yesterday evening and added up all the session registrations per session. And on average, we have 175 people registered for each session. So the registration numbers per session are looking pretty good. And it's definitely much higher than the 100-person theater we had at VMworld last year.
Nice, nice. And, we can expect some kind of drop off of that, but nonetheless, drops it right into your calendar so you know what you can come check out. Everything live, the presenters live, going to be there responding to questions. They're going to go pretty quick though, 20, 30 minutes per power session. And then the coding sessions go for an hour and a half or something. So the coding sessions will go slow. The power sessions will be pretty quick. Have you told the presenters to leave 5 minutes at the end for questions?
Yeah, we sent out some instructions on how they should be conducting their sessions, so they know that they can either do Q&A during or after. We kind of left it up to them. It's however their presentation flows, but yeah, they are going to be allowing for time for Q&A.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so that's sessions. Pretty straightforward. Great answers, guys. I love that idea. I love the idea that it's sitting on GitHub. Now, if I'm on this pretty GitHub environment, which is pages, how do I get to the project to see real code?
So at the very top, right under where it says VMware Code Connect repository, you would click on View on GitHub. And as you navigate the repository itself, the presenters' names are on the folder. So if someone has pushed code, you'll be directed to their folder to check out what files they've used in their session.
All right, so right at the top of this nice, beautiful page, there's just a go to GitHub, and it just switches view from the pretty presentation of the conference site to a classic GitHub view where you can just select the folder of the session, right, that you're going to be attending.
Yep.
Nice. Has anybody uploaded anything yet? Do we have actually any real content on GitHub for the sessions?
Yes, we have. We got a few uploads. We've been adding people slowly to the repository as they're sending in their usernames. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Nothing I understand, but they've been uploading them. So it's exciting.
So a call to action for everybody is if you don't have a GitHub account, you should probably get one. Much like Discord, everybody wants to have a GitHub account over time so that you can go register. It's free. I think GitHub's owned by Microsoft now, so it's a pretty professional place. And then once you have your GitHub account, you can go surf all the projects. We have our own projects there. Now we have Code Connect there with all the session material and everything plugged into GitHub. I like that. Talk to me about the hackathon. Kripa, do you want to talk about, or maybe we should do the scripting contest first and save the hackathon for last? What do you want to tackle next?
Sure, that works. We can do scripting contest first.
All right. What is a scripting contest?
So I will tell you. So I mentioned earlier that we launched our Code Coaches program, our influencer program, back in January. One of our code coaches and very active community member, Wooter, Kristen, works for a company called Control Up, and they do this thing every month where they highlight the best script of the month, and they figured why not have some kind of plugin with Code Connect. So they're running a script competition, and actually if you go to our website, there's a lot more detail about what that contest looks like, how to set up what you need to before the day of, and what judging will look like. Their Control Up's really going to run the whole thing, so we've been pretty hands off for that. But the winner will get a prize, probably an Amazon gift card, be interviewed for their website, and also have their script featured as the script of the month. So, and it's an individual project thing, so you don't have to be in a team. You can totally just come in the day of. It's only an hour and a half for the whole competition, so it should be pretty straightforward. And you're emailing your script, so you don't even have to have a GitHub account for that.
Very nice. So fun contest. We talked about, the prizes, which is, because we're in COVID time, it's actually hard for us to ship stuff out because we're all living in our bedrooms and our home environments, which doesn't give us a lot of shipping capacity, right? Normally shipping from VMware at the main campus, we just go down to the shipping department and say, here's a crate of stuff, please ship it out. And they do that. We're in our homes. Shipping is going to the USPS post office and putting it in a box with your masks on, everything. So I hear prizes when it comes to the hackathon, Amazon gift cards. That's a great way to do it because we can it's a digital gift card, right? We don't have to send it. We just mail you a digital gift card and away you go. So those are prizes. I wish they could give you an Amazon gift card that would limit what you could buy to just like some geeky stuff, so that your significant other doesn't grab it from you or whatever, or you lose it, and then you it ends up being grocery spend, right, or other things, right? I always worry about gift cards turning into these things that are just I needed some more soap for laundry detergent, so I bought it on Amazon. But you can't really do that, so it's just pretty much like cash, right? Just an Amazon cash card, right?
There is a feature we could create our list of our favorite recommended geeky products that we want you to buy, and you can go in and it'll say VMware Codes favorites, and
Cool.
it'll have all the things that we recommend you to buy. So,
Right. That would be neat. Then we could have a contest of who tweeted out the best picture of the stuff that you bought in the list, and they get another card for winning that card, right?
Exactly.
Right. So that's neat. And I like the idea we're giving gifts. How about we'll jump over to swag. I hate that word. Like I like code gear, right, or code apparel, right? Like so in previous years we give away free t-shirts if you come. Usually we'll have that. A couple of years ago we did the Bitcoin clone that we used, VMware's I forget the name of the tech that we used to build that. But anyway, we built an online store. You could come in and we gave away t-shirts and other code branded stuff. What are we doing with code branded stuff this year? I know that we're not even allowed to buy things. We're not, they've restricted our budgets. They don't give us 401k this year, no raises, no promotions. It's all COVID happiness, which is all great. We're happy to be just in the ecosystem making a living. So that's cool. But that means that we haven't really had budget for gear. What can we do for code gear this year?
Yeah, so we are working with our vendors, Zorch, to put up a Code Connect specific conference t-shirt up for sale, and a VMware Code more general hoodie. They're actually on sale right now on VMware merchandising. If you go to that website, the t-shirt's unisex, and there's a specific hoodie for men and for women based on what cut you prefer. As far as the hoodie's concerned, if any of you were at VMworld US or Europe last year and you happen to see the Hackathon captains walking away with some hoodies and you liked them and you wanted one, this is your opportunity. They're very similar. They're the same fantastic material. Sophie and I can say that we've already bought shirts and hoodies for ourselves. We were very excited when they went on the website earlier last week. So definitely check it out. I think that they will probably continue to stay on the website even after the conference is over.
Right. All right.
They make great Christmas gifts.
Right. And in a real sense, this is a good deal, because instead of buying a $2,000 conference pass in order to come to VMware and experience all this stuff, and then if you buy a $2,000 conference pass, that budget dribbles down to the rest of us where we get to do things like this, right? Because your conference pass pays for all the things that we get to do with you during the conference. This year there is no conference pass, and again we're on budget restrictions as well, because usually I do have some budget to do these kind of things, but they've actually come down and said, nope, you're not allowed to do this, period. No branded giveaways. But in this case, I think the VMworld site is actually doing the same thing for backpacks or for other gear. You can go to the branded site and purchase one for like $20 or some number like that. And we're doing the same thing with VMware Code, right? So you can go to the brand site, and how do I find that link? That's on Code Connect, right? There's a link for that.
It is on Code Connect. Yeah, as soon as you go to our Code Connect website, right there at the very top, you'll see a link for ordering clothes, and it should be pretty easy to spot.
Right. Yes, and on chat they're asking if there is a VMworld t-shirt. I believe there is, but I think it's for sale, right? Like, so again, they have some VMworld stuff that they announced on in the program, and I know that stuff is for sale as well. And I don't know what exactly, but it's a shirt, gear. They do that. We've done the same thing. Yeah, there you go. Conference swag on the video. If you're watching us on YouTube, she Julia put a nice little thing up there, vmware.zorch.com, So if you go to vmware.zorch.com, you can go look at what swag, I hate that word, is available to purchase. So branded nice stuff to show off your V community love. I think that's super cool. All right, so that's going to be neat. Before we get to the hackathon, how many people are we expecting? 1,000? I think our target is like 1,000 or some number like that for Reg. I know Reg is ramping up for VMworld this last week. Everybody's jumping in and regging. So that's our target. So we should tell everybody, go Reg and bring a friend and hang out and learn some code, right? And then the full agenda is on Code Connect, and you'll get that invite if you reg at code.vmware.com.
Yep.
Do I dare ask what's our number right now? 600?
We're at 600. So we're close to our target. We're not far.
Right. Good. And that's the way we want it, right? I don't want it so big that, there's 1,000 people in every session and you can't actually have conversations, and, that's not fun. And we are going to continue looking for what we can do real time. There's a couple other small things that we might surprise on people. Where are we on the Lego dudes, or Lego people, I should say?
Yeah, I don't know. Have you already announced? Did you already bring it up on a different podcast?
No, I didn't.
Do people know?
I just mentioned there might be some Lego thing, but that's all I said. I don't know what I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you guys happened to be at VMworld last year, they were giving away small little Lego guys, VMware branded Lego guys for different products and different teams. I think there was a Comms Ninja one. There was a vSAN one with his little helmet. And William was the one that created those, and he brought it up that we could probably make a VMware code Lego. So we may or may not have those in time for the conference, and Sophie and I may or may not be mailing them out in envelopes. But if you're not registered for the conference, then it doesn't even concern you. So register for the conference if you may or may not want to go.
If you want your collectors only code branded Lego person, right? I can't say dude or guy because I don't know what it is. Go register for code. There's a high likelihood. I know that we've ordered enough to cover some number, and depending on if we get 20,000 registrants, then we're not going to be able to send everybody a code thing. But at these numbers, it's very, very, very possible that everybody could get a Christmas present Lego that they could hang on their Christmas tree that has a code theme. Are we going to have little code? Are we going to have real code on it? So like if I compile my Lego dude, it'll actually run. That's what I want.
Definitely. Yep.
Right. And finally, the last part of this program, the hackathon. I know that we are doing a hackathon. It's going to be online. It's individual. We've mentioned that in the podcast before. What are we doing, and how, if anybody wants to write some code on a small team or whatever, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so this is actually our 5th year running the VMware Code VMworld Hackathon. I only joined on about the 3rd year. I actually recently wrote a blog post kind of walking through the history of the VMware Code Hackathon. But it's an extremely popular event when it comes to VMworld. People really come together at this event. It's an event that I look forward to every year because I think it just encompasses the code community really in one event, in one room. Everyone is extremely willing to learn from each other, teach each other. It's just a really fun evening to be in the same room as people, like-minded people. Unfortunately, we can't all be in the same room together, and we were discussing how we could run a hackathon virtually. And one thing that we tend to notice, kind of a running joke at the hackathons, is there's a lot of teams that always have a project that's Ansible-based, or a team that has like a PowerShell-based project. And there's always this kind of jokingly like, Ansible's the best. No, PowerShell's the best. And we figured, why not make that the theme this year? If we really want to create some fun competition, why not make it an Ansible versus PowerShell code wars battle? Really, though, the way we're going to structure it is that teams choose if they want to be having an Ansible-based project or a PowerShell-based project, and they can choose whatever project they want. The goal is to show the utility of their choice, why they chose Ansible, why they chose PowerShell. When you sign up on our registration, which is also on Code Connect, you basically just sign up for a topic. Sophie and I are going to go through on Friday, and based on people's topic preference and where they're located, put together groups of 5 to 7. And teams can actually start working on the hackathon this weekend. And they will have time between this weekend up until October 2nd, which is the last day of Code Connect, to work on our projects. We only have about an hour and a half set aside for the hackathon itself on October 2nd, and that day will really be used for teams to do their final presentations, for judging to occur, and for prizes. So it's a definitely new format. It's going to be new for all of us, but looking forward to it. I think the theme's really fun. We've been getting a lot of good feedback from people based on it. We have about 50 people registered for the hackathon right now, so I'm excited. Hackathon registration closes on Friday, so if you're interested, sign up as soon as possible.
Awesome. Yep. So again, if you're going to VMworld and you're used to having the VMworld excitement where you're running into people doing that, on the front end, we have Discord, so you can go be part of the V community. If you're one of the people that hung out at the code booth and wanted to learn code and do some fun projects and that kind of stuff, you can do that. And don't be surprised if we have some little bit of Raspberry Pi action going on as well that we'll surprise people with. We got the code logo guys. And so this is kind of like a big part of what the community booth is, and we're going to run it on GitHub. So excited about that. So Kripa and Sophie, you guys have been doing great work. It is what I would say is the first Code Connect event, and I would expect to have a Code Connect event going forward year after year, possibly not virtual, possibly virtual, where we actually have a bigger footprint on how to do community development. So excited about that. So great work, both of you guys, for doing all that. And I'm sure you're excited to I'm excited to get Kit Colbert up there. I'm excited to see William Lamb and Kyle Ruddy and all the guys that have been driving automation for such a long time, and actually having things checked into GitHub at the end of it, so that if I miss a session or I want to go learn how they do it, I can go watch the recording, I can get their code, I can go compile it, I can build a little home lab and do this stuff at home and totally geek out. So I'm excited about that, Kripa. This is gonna be fun. Sophie as well. Really fun times. I'm looking forward to it. And with that, we're coming up to the top of the hour, which is always a great thing. And maybe we'll talk. So one last time, who do we follow for VMware Code? What's the code handle if you want to follow it on Twitter? And then Reg.
Yeah, for the VMware Code handle on Twitter, it's just at VMware Code. If you want to follow me, I'm at Kripa Sitharaman, much longer, harder to find. But if you want to find me, if you just find at VMware Code, my Twitter handle is linked in the bio. You can get really good information from both. Eric, honestly, has a fantastic Twitter also to be putting out information on Code Connect. So if you don't follow Eric, definitely follow Eric as well. And our URL, one more time, for the website is vmwarecodeconnect.github.io/codeconnect2020.
Nice. And a lot of people have registered and then got that link. So if you've registered, and it literally, for registration, you're only asking for their name, job role, and email address, something like that. It's very straightforward, easy to register. Should be able to register in less than 2 minutes if you go there and get registered. And then we'll send you the link to the site. So really nice. And yeah, perfect there. Okay. We'll move on now. Thanks, guys. A little bit of V barbecue before we exit. I know it's been a fun V barbecue time. I know Sophie has a report. Tony Foster's been patiently chatting with me. He's got a report. So Tony Foster, we'll go to you first. I know you were going to do chicken marsala or something like that. What did you end up doing?
Mm-hmm. So I got range out, and we just did that in a pan and on the stove. But yesterday I did a pork butt. I smoked a pork butt, and it was absolutely awesome last night. And we get leftovers tonight. We're doing pulled pork sandwiches.
So when you say you smoked it, did you really smoke it with a smoker, or did you just put it on the grill and put the lid on like I do?
I really smoked it. I put it in a actual smoker. And one of the unique things that I did this time that I've never tried before is, instead of filling up the water bath to keep it moist, with water, I actually put vinegar in there. And so I got a really nice infused apple vinegar flavor into the pork, and it really tenderized the meat.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. And Sophie, I hear you guys got a smoker as well and have been getting your feet wet smoking things all week.
Yes, we have. We got a pit barrel cooker. We've been just, getting different types. We did beef ribs a while ago. We also did a pork butt, and the apple cider vinegar does make a difference. It was really great. And we had a ton of pulled pork sandwiches leftovers as well. So looking forward to next weekend.
Very nice. I kind of felt guilty because we put some nice steaks on the Barbie. Did the 2 minutes on each side just last night, and it's smoking while we're in the Bay Area that has too much smoke, right? And
Yep.
I did feel a little guilty that I was contributing to the already bad air pollution. But then it rained last night, so the guilt got washed away, right? Because smoking does create more smoke. And I was like, we should just put everything outside and let it sit outside in California. It'll naturally smoke things because it's been so smoky.
Exactly.
With that, I hope you kind of still have an appetite. I know that it is lunchtime here, so we will get to go. I'm excited. One more week. Get your third monitor set up. I am going to run a third monitor. You have the Twitter 3-word, whatever that is. I'm going to do like a Twitter third monitor photo contest. And I got a couple prizes we're going to do. So if you do have a really cool home environment, I've seen some photos that were two dual monitors. I don't think a dual monitor is going to win you very much, but if you got that 3-monitor environment going on, definitely get ready to tweet that out. We're going to have some other fun stuff. I've heard that maybe we're going to have a virtual badge environment where you can go in and set up a badge and print it out so that when you come to the show on camera, you'll actually have a lanyard with a badge on. So we're seeing if we can get that. We got some security kind of sharing information issues with the service that we're setting up, but we are getting ready to have some interesting fun things to announce during the show as well. So stay tuned, get excited, get that extra monitor set up, get ready for Pat Gelsinger. He's a crazy man. If you've seen his video, lots of energy there, lots of excitement with everything going on with VMworld. So get ready, it's coming, and we're excited about it, and we're excited to see everybody on camera. So with that, we will say goodbye, and we will see you again next week. vRealize Automation will be here next week to talk about their product launches. The vSphere product launches went out on the 15th, so that's all up now. All the major launches, Tanzu, 3 different Tanzu releases went out this week as well. We might have them come on the day before VMworld just to let everybody know what's going on there. And so lots of new releases, activities. Enjoy it, consume it, and we'll be back here again next week. Thanks a lot.